dugsiyada Noradin Schools.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Ikhwaani with a new lesson. Assalamu alaikum. I hope everyone is happy. Good morning. Today we will have conditionals. Okay, conditionals. Fine. What do you think conditionals are? What do you think, please? Conditional tenses are used to separate, to speculate or guess about what could happen, what might happen, and what we wish would happen. Simple. But when you need to learn the conditionals, you should know the tenses very well. 3 lessons will be very difficult for you if you don't master tenses very well. Let's take the passive voice. The passive voice will be very challenging if you don't learn tenses. And at the same time, conditionals, this lesson will be also very challenging if you don't know tenses. And there is another 3rd lesson which we call reported speech. If you don't know tenses, also reported speech, you will not understand. So if you need to know more about conditional tenses, I'm really advising you to go back to tenses and master all tenses, whether it's a present simple, present continuous, past simple, future simple, past continuous, and the rest of all other tenses, inshallah. Okay. Today's lesson, as I said earlier, is about conditionals. Okay. Today is about conditionals. Conditionals are used to separate. You are used to speculate. Speculate means guess about what could happen, what might happen, could happen, what might have happened, and what we wish would have happened. In English, most sentences use or are using the conditional contain the word if. Whenever you need to make conditional sentences, don't forget that they all contain the word if. Okay, there are 4 types normally, but normally they say there are 5 types of conditionals, but these are the very common ones. These 4 are the very common ones. There are 4 types. In some books you will see there are 5 types of conditionals, but these are the very common ones, the 4 conditionals. Okay, so today we will study these 4 types of conditionals. Okay, all right. Okay, look, there are 4 types of conditionals. What did I say? I said there are 4 types of conditionals. Okay, so now we will look the conditionals one by one. All right, okay. We will look the conditionals one by one. This is conditional type 0. 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 Okay, conditional type 0. All right, this is conditional type 0. This is conditional type 0. Conditional type 0 is used for scientific general truth. Scientific general truth. As I told you earlier, guys, if you don't know tenses, as I said earlier, you wouldn't understand that much about conditional tenses, or conditional sentences. All you have to do is to go back to the tenses, memorize, revise all tenses. Because conditional type 0 is nothing else. It's two tenses, simple present tense and simple present tense. Two simple present tenses make conditional type 0. And also we use conditional type 0 with past simple plus past simple. Two tenses. What about if you don't know past simple? Can you make conditional sentence type 0? I think no, you can't. So you need always to go back to the tenses and revise to understand, as I said earlier, the three very important lessons which are really related to the tenses: the passive voice, the conditionals, and the reported speech. So if you want to make conditional type 0, if you want to construct a sentence of conditional type 0, all you have to do is simple present tense plus simple present tense, or past simple plus past simple. Okay, let's take quick examples about conditional type 0. As I said earlier, you have always a condition and result. Condition and result. Or you have if clause and main clause. Okay, you always use if clause and main clause. The if clause and main clause. All right. The if clause and main clause. Oh, sorry. The if clause and main clause. So, if you heat butter, it melts. If you heat butter, it melts. I have two simple present tenses. If you heat butter, it's a simple present tense, and it melts is another simple present tense. So these two simple present tenses together make conditional type 0. They make conditional type 0. Okay, and they always talk about what? Scientific general truth. Normally, if you heat butter, it melts. And we have also another example here. Because it's scientific, it's true. If I have time, I study English. If you don't give time to study English, how can you study English? So a very good student is saying, if I have time, but he's busy, maybe he is a father, busy with children, but he's saying, if I have time, it's a true. If I have time, I study English. There's also another example here, because conditional type 0 talks about truth. Years ago, if people traveled a long distance, the journey took days. Yes, it's true. Years ago, if people travel a long distance, the journey took days. Right. Look, we have other more examples here about conditional type 0. Other more examples about conditional type 0. We have had this example. Years ago, if people travel a long distance, the journey took days. It's true. So we have also other more examples here. But don't forget this. If may be replaced by the word when. So here we have if clause and main clause. More other examples of conditional type 0. If this thing happens, yes, it's the clause, it's the if clause. And we have also the main clause here. Okay, if this thing happens, that thing happens. It's true. It's a general, it's a scientific, and it's true. If you heat ice, Yes, it's true. It melts. Normally, if you heat ice, it melts. If it rains today, then the grass gets wet. If it rains today, the grass gets wet. It's true. So normally, conditional type 0 talks about scientific general truths. Let's go to the second condition. The second condition is known as conditional fast or fast conditional. Okay, fast conditional. All right, this is also known as fast conditional. Fast conditional talks about, or the uses of fast conditional is a possible situation in the future. Or you can also say predicting a likely result in the future if the condition happens or happen. I'll give you two quick examples. Okay, if it rains, we will cancel the trip. If it rains, we will cancel the trip. Because it talks about possible situation in the future. Something that can possibly happen in the future. Or predicting a likely result in the future. So if it rains, we will cancel the trip. Right? And if you study, you will pass the exam. Yes. If you study, you will pass the exam. It's a possible situation in the future. If I study hard, then properly I will pass the examination. But if I don't study, how can I pass the examination? So it's a possible situation in the future. Right. This is known as what? Fast conditional or conditional type 1. In some books you will see conditional type 1. Okay. Conditional type 1. Conditional type 1. The first one was conditional type 0. But this one is conditional type 1. Okay. It always talks about, as I said earlier, a possible situation in the future. These are really examples that can make you understand, inshallah. Let's now go to the second condition. They also call conditional type 2. Yes, in some books you will see they call it conditional type 2. Sorry. Conditional type 2. They call it conditional type 2. So, as I said earlier, if you don't memorize tenses and you don't learn tenses by heart, you cannot really understand or really construct a conditional sentences, because all these sentences I'm writing now on the board depend on learning tenses in the first place. So look, the first conditional type 0 was simple present plus simple present tense, and also past simple plus past simple. And the second condition becomes what? You have what? Present simple here, present simple here, you get present simple here, plus simple future tense. Okay, so when you get present simple and simple future, you can make what? Conditional type 1 or first conditional. And this one, conditional 2, or we call it conditional type 2, uses two tenses, past simple and present conditional. Some books, they don't write present conditional. They only write would plus verb. But in English, we have present conditional, perfect conditional. So it is used as hypothetical or unlikely situations. It always talks about hypothetical. Hypothetical means, you can also pronounce the word hypothetical. In American accent, they say hypothetical, but in British accent, they say hypothetical. So hypothetical means unlikely situation or something you are imagining. Okay, it's unclear or improbable situation. Improbable means something you are thinking. Improbable situation now or in the future. Okay. But you need always to know the tense. If you want to make second conditional, remember that it contains past simple with your if clause and perfect conditional with your main clause. Okay. As I said, past simple with your if clause and perfect conditional with your main clause. But you can change the if into the tense of your desire. You can change. You can put what I call a perfect conditional in the first place and then past simple in the second place. No problem. And now let's go to the third conditional. The third conditional is also called conditional type 3. Okay. It's also known as conditional type 3. It's also known as conditional type 3. It consists of two tenses, right? Past perfect tense and also perfect conditional. But here you have only would, have, plus past participle verb. But we also call it perfect conditional. Perfect conditional. Okay. Perfect conditional. Perfect conditional. Perfect conditional. Perfect conditional. Sorry for the handwriting. It's about the yes. Okay. Perfect conditional. It consists of past perfect and perfect conditional. But they also write would plus have plus main verb past participle. The uses of third conditional is the person is imagining a different past, or it's an imaginary situation. It's an imaginary situation. It's an imaginary situation. That did not happen. That did not happen. Let's go back to the examples now. You know that third conditional or type 3 consists of or contain two tenses, past perfect and perfect conditional. So the use is nothing else but it tells us an imaginary situation that did not happen. If you hard studied, you would have passed the examination. It's an imaginary situation that did not happen. If I had lived in Makkah, I would have become Sudaisi, Sheikh Sudaisi. If I had lived in Medina, I would have memorized the whole Quran. Okay, it's an imaginary situation that did not happen. Okay, so you use past perfect tense and past perfect tense. Okay, let's quickly review the conditionals, my dear. Please, one more time. If you need to pass any examination about conditional sentence, all you have to do is to go back and revise tenses. Because as I said earlier, you can't really learn and study reported speech, conditional sentences, and at the same time, the passive voice unless you learn tenses. So go back to tenses. This is Ikhwaani. I'm saying everyone good health, inshallah, and I hope we will all come back together in our normal classes. Wish you a very bright future, and all I can say is goodbye and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and safe inshallah. Bye.